Ladies and gentlemen, inductee Cecil W. Wright. Cecil Wright was born August 11, 1916 as the oldest child of a Brunley Mountain farm family. These pictures are on postcards with the address on the backside of one, Cecil Wright, Route 1, Arab, Alabama, 1917. Here on the left is a precious 7-month-old Cecil. Over on the right side, a curious, active young lad. Cecil looks to be about 4 or 5 years old. He grew up in Grassy and would spend part of his adult life in the same community teaching and coaching. Crippled as a 6th grader with osteomyelitis, he would forever be limited as an athlete. The Birmingham doctor John D. Sherrill accepted sorghum syrup and vegetables as payment for young Wright's medical bills. In 1939, after using all scholarship and family financing, young Wright asked Gunnersville banker J.P. Willis for a loan of $155.75 to finish his last year of college. Mr. Willis told him, "Son, I'm going to loan you this money because your daddy and your granddaddy banked with me." This Depression-era teenager would go on to outstanding achievements in athletics and education. Wright's 49-year career in public schools included coach and teacher at Grassy, Ryan, Boaz, and Asbury, principal at Asbury, Alabama Avenue, and Albertville High School, and supervisor with Marshall County Schools. While working in the superintendent's office, Cecil is on the back row, second from the end on the right side. Others, left to right on the front row, Sandra Brown, Sue Vandergriff, Superintendent Waylon Cooley, Vida Mae Starnes, and Burl Bailey. On the back row, left to right, James Dennis, Woodrow Peak, Leonard Wright, Mr. Goss, Russell Gibson, Cecil Wright, and Carville Kemp. As an Arab student, Cecil was given an assistant job with the head football and basketball coach Norman Pete Garrett, Albertville class of '32. Coach Garrett called Cecil a manager, but he had all the duties of an assistant coach. The last period of the day, Cecil would help break down the defense and the offense, plan, and help with practice. Wright later became the head football coach, head basketball coach at Boaz High School. He coached 2 county basketball championship teams, including a state tournament team in 1947. Here is Coach Wright with his Boaz state tournament team, 1947. On that front row, Alan Hayes wearing number 15. Years later, he would become the principal at Boaz High School. Number 12 is Bunk Goodwin. Number 29, Ralph Hale. Number 31, Harold Chitwood. On the back row, Coach Cecil Wright. Number 10 is Neely Witt. Number 23 is Robert Cobb, a Boaz car dealer. Number 34, Ernest Taft. And number 38, Lois Mabry. Now the coach with his 1949 Marshall County champions. On the front row is number 29, Ronald Martin, and he was the tallest player on the squad. He fell and broke his arm right before the district tournament. Coach Wright said if Roland had not fell and broke that arm, we'd again gone to the state tournament. Other players, number 10 is Tommy Gillespie, a retired teacher and cattle farmer down in Blount County. Number 15, Jerry Cole. Number 31, W.C. Smith, and number 17 is Ted Tom. On the back row, left to right, there's number 26, Bob Murphy, a professor at Athens State College. Number 34, Mosley. Number 23, Frank Johnson. Number 38, Laverne Owens. Number 12, Robert Sauls, and Coach Cecil Wright. His best Boaz football squad was 1948, 5-3-1. And during the Grassy years, 1940 to 43, his junior high team beat 2 varsity teams, Gunnersville and Austinville. Coach Russell Red Garrett from Gunnersville's Marshall County High School varsity was so embarrassed with the loss to Grassy that he asked Coach Wright not to tell anybody about it. From 1943 to 46 at Ryan, he lost a total of 8 games while winning a Morgan County Junior High Championship and losing by 3 to Hartselle in the varsity championship game. Here is Cecil with one of his Ryan basketball teams. As we look at him left to right, Coach Cecil Wright on the left side. The first player, we don't have a name for that player, but number 2 is Talmadge Benefiel. The third player is Junior Oden. Fourth is Fred Ellenberg. Fifth, Ray Humphreys. Sixth player, no name. and just on the back there on the right is Principal C.O. Bone at Ryan High School. Not pictured, but other Ryan players included such names as Malcolm Martis, Billy Oden, Stansel Light, Leno Bagwell, and Boyd Ryan. His memory of those Ryan teams include expense money for travel over to Decatur for the county tournaments. There was no Highway 67 to travel from Decatur, from Arab in that area, over to Decatur. But from Ryan, you had to go over toward Cullman and then travel to Decatur. They stayed a week at the All-State Cabins in Decatur, eating their meals at the White Palace Cafe. From coaching and teaching to an administrator, what about the good old days as Asbury Junior High principal and coach, 1949 to 1962? This Asbury team featured Cecil and Sue's only child, their son Bruce, on the back row left side. Bruce had a long career in public schools, retiring as the superintendent of the Jefferson County school system. On the front row, left to right, Frank Baker, Bert Martin, Billy Bryant. On the back row, left to right, Bruce Wright, Charlie Burgess, and Pete Childers. Asbury Junior High basketball was great, and great for the community. On the front row, left to right, Francis McNair. Number 2 is Mary Burt. 3rd is Billy Bryant. 4th, Frank Baker. Bruce Wright is 5th. Bert Martin is 6th. Charlie Burgess is 7th. Pete Childers is number 8. Wanda Conway is 9th. And Alice Johnston is the 10th person. On the back, standing left to right, Shelby Wilkerson, Coach Cecil Wright. 3rd is George Carr. 4th is Sonny Stevens. 5th, Jimmy Benson. 6th is Johnny Lambert. 7th, George Strange. Number 9 is Durwood Raines. No name for the 10th person. Holly Raines is number 11, and Linda Wilmore, number 12. From Asbury to Alabama Avenue, Mr. Wright shares some special moments with students. Then the Albertville High School principal. On the right, he talks with Albertville's Mayor, Buford Cryer. This, his last school year. Cecil Wright, Man of the Year 1970 by the Albertville Chamber of Commerce. At age 12, he lost a year in school because he lay flat of his back for 5 months and 3 weeks as a crippled lad. He started lifting weights to straighten out his leg that bent underneath him, starting with 2 pounds and working up to 30 pounds. This was after his doctor in Birmingham had refused to do surgery because they had lost about 80% of the patients that received surgery for this ailment. Yet, this boy would grow into a man that would experience the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, inductee Cecil Wright.
I wish to thank this group that have made this possible. They have gone into a lot of work, and we need to appreciate them. I am dedicated to my parents, who is deceased. They never did treat me as a handicapped person. They always treated me to be useful in my community. And my brothers, 2 of my sisters are here, and my brother, and they never did fail to back me in whatever I did. And to my main person is my wife of 65 years. She has been with me. She goes with me where I need to go. She backs me up, and if it were not for her, I would not be here today. And I want to thank my neighbors. Jean and Peggy Graves have been our neighbors for 26 years. They take care of all my outside work, and he keeps my carts running. You might wonder why my son, we have an only son, and he is on vacation up north. But I'm glad to have my great-grandchildren here. They are wonderful. They are our pride and joy. They go to school in Huntsville, and as soon as they get old enough, each one of them, boys and girls, enters into the athletic program. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the students that I've taught in school and for the faculties that I've had to work with me. Thank you.